Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with the Dodge Challenger MOPAR Drag Pak. This is one of the few Dodges in the game that can actually be used in live. However, this car is a little bit tricky when it comes to setup, so I'm going to give you guys a setup for live that I've kind of put together for this car. I know this was, I think, part of a free race pass reward a season or two ago. Therefore, quite a few people must have it. I'll give you some good news. The Gold Star version of this car may actually be slightly better than the Purple Star. So you're not actually getting gimped by having the Gold Star version. Now, the tricky part about this car is actually setting it up for live where it will shine. This car is interesting in that you actually don't really want to have stage 6s installed if you want a low performance point high evo tune, because the performance point jumps from installing stage 6 is ridiculous. It jumps from literally 640s to 660s in one upgrade, and your evo actually goes down instead of up. Not to say you can't tune around that a little bit, but overall there's no benefit to installing some of the stage 6s because your car becomes less competitive in its respective lobby due to the numbers change. So we're going to run a no stage 6 setup with 1 stage of intake, 3 stage of nitrous, 5 body, 3 tire, and 5 transmission. What this does is put you at about 643 performance points. That's a nice cutoff for the 11-second range, and your dyno is going to be 11368 with this particular final drive and tire. Now, you can actually squeeze out, I think, a point or two if you really want to 366. I don't think it really makes a difference in the end between 366 and 368 when it comes to lobbying. So I'm going to stick with 368. The Drag Pak is going to get a little bit of lobby advantage, but not a lot. Ultimately, the numbers are not that awesome. You're looking usually for 1 to 3. This is a 1 to 2.5 ratio. Not quite 1 to 3 ratio. Well, close, I guess, but 1 to 3 ratio will be somewhere in the 1900 range. Evo at 643. We're just not going to ever hit that. So instead, I just take my decent Evo versus performance point and roll with it. Now, Junior Gon over here is running a car that can have a very similar down tune to the 992. I can accept this challenge, but I'm pretty sure he's going to run off on me. That's okay. That's a dyno buster if it's set up for it. This car, the Mopar, is a dyno beater, although not necessarily what I would consider a dyno buster. It does run faster than dyno. Now, here comes the guy. I am not going to worry about beating him, mainly because I'm pretty sure he's running it with some control to try to beat me. 11.322, he's running right near the lobby that we're in, but a little bit faster than the lobby. Technically, based on what we have here, this car should be in 11.5s. Okay, I can challenge another pretty tough car that also beats dyno, which is the LC500. Again, this car probably can run my dyno in here, but let's see if he does. Now, the Challenger, if you set it up with a little bit slower final drive or lower final drive, you'll get a 0 RPM drop where you can hit nitrous right away for a nice dyno beating run. But again, it's a little bit trickier than, say, launching it just the way I have done around 5K and just instant second and nitrous, which accomplish basically the same thing. So there's no real point to set it up for that needle drop. Fully maxed, it requires a needle drop instant nitrous to really be optimal. But when you're running this kind of a setup, that launch point, as long as it's around 5K, really doesn't require the rest. Let's see. These guys... Oh, this guy here, 3-star. The Z's a really decent car. Fully elite, fully maxed. Not fully maxed. Fully elite with all parts, if you set up for one of the slower lobbies, it's a pretty dominating car. But given that he is running only 3 stars, I'm not too worried about him running off on me. He probably would give me a good run for my money, but completely running off on me, probably not. I slow down a little bit because I think I'm running right on the lobby. So 11.441 against 11.483. So he's doing pretty well in here, considering that, you know, it's only got 3 stars and he's still running a decent time. Now, this guy's probably down-tuned. I know this guy's down-tuned. This one here is a low performance point, high evo car. That could probably land in here with like a 11.28 to 2.6 dyno. So if we were both to push hard, I think he would beat me. But it would really depend on ultimately his setup and whether he's already bumped to the point where he's no longer getting lobby advantage. And it looks that way if he's that far back. He really should be closer to me than that. So I suspect that card, for him at least, is somewhat bumped. I just ran kind of slightly under my dyno there. Probably not a great idea to keep pushing this car. That's my one reservation about this Mopar. The numbers are not that great. You're not going to ultimately get really good lobby advantage. So if you're not controlling your runs very well, you're going to have a hard time winning. I gave him that one, but I kept it close. The point is that we don't want to outrun our dyno too often with these kind of cars. That's any car, but these dyno beating cars even more so. You want to be careful to kind of settle your car by running it within range of a lobby to, you know, you can win, but you don't want to keep pushing your car too hard. Now, let me see. That's a dyno beater. That's going to be lobbied really well. This one, I could raise him, but depending on how he's set up, he could probably push me. But that is a lower ranking player. Might be missing a lot of fusions. Let's see what happens. I mean, the Mopar in here could probably run like a 11.0 something something if I push it. I really don't want to push it, but we'll see if, you know, that one I didn't have to push. I slowed down quite a bit, so that was a slower run. 11.6. This looks like the right. That's expected time if you're running lobby time in here. I don't think most of the better cars are going to run that slow. And there might be 1 or 2 really bad cars that could run slower than that. But generally speaking, you should be running somewhere around 11.5 to 11.6 in here. Demon X is going to challenge me again. He might not have shifted properly the last run. LC500 beats Dyno easily if it's set up right. He should really, with 5 stars, he really should be running probably 11.3, 11.2s in here, assuming everything goes well. But if he's not set up properly, which I suspect is the issue here, it's much harder. I think I lost that one. Oh well. But, you know, I don't think he's set up that great in here. He ran a little better than last time. I mean, I can challenge him again. Let's do one more. So I really expect the LC500 to do better than that number in here. I mean, in this lobby, but he is a newer player, and I guarantee you his LC500 may have the stars, but probably not the fusions. And that's what's costing him right now. And that goes for any live racer. Without the right fusions, you're not going to have a really great live racer because you don't have the Evo to control your... Oops. Slow down a little too much again. Sorry. Talking too much and not paying enough attention how far I'm down the track. But anyway, the problem with not enough fusions is your car's not going to be optimally set up. And even if you lobby in here, you may not lobby well. Now, notice how the cars are changing. So by running him slow and losing, I am actually going to be moved down a little bit down the line where the next guys that show up are likely to be slower. However, if you have the CTSV, which one is the Blackwing, we know this car with the right setup is going to be beating Dyno by quite a bit, and it's going to be in the lobby with advantage. That's assuming they know how to set it up. I mean, a lot of CTSV guys ultimately don't know how to set up and they don't have their car set up that well. But this one looks like it was set up pretty well. It normally would be very hard to lose running like that in this lobby. On the other hand, though, unfortunately for him, I have a MOPAR Drag Pak that can beat Dino. So now that was an under Dino run for me. I need to really find a slower opponent now to run, because if I keep that up, I am going to get bumped. So let's see. Nobody else is available. I really want to get a slow run in before I leave, so I'm just going to challenge the first guy that becomes available. All right, Michael Arbuckle with no stars. No stars, low rank, no fusions probably. This car is probably high upgrade, low fusion, and it's not going to be very fast. So most Supras will come up on you near the end really hard. That Supra, I don't anticipate as much, because while he's still going to be gaining on me near the end, he's not going to be able to run the times that, you know, this lobby would demand. He just doesn't have the setup for it, and unfortunately for him, it's reflected in the way he ran. It's reflected in the poor lobbying that his car is suffering from. And this is why I advise against dragging your Elite Tuner car into live right away, because you will not do well. I mean, it just, unfortunately, the reality of how the game works, people get excited, they run their car in really early, and then they go, oh, why am I not winning? Well, you're not winning because, well, your car's not set up right, okay? So I gave him a win there. I slowed down a little extra. All right, I already got my goals accomplished to kind of demonstrate the car. Let's go back and talk about it briefly again before I jump off the video here. So it's a live setup, but again, this is not, to me, optimal numbers. Now, you can do lower numbers maintaining this pretty close, but you're going to be in a much slower lobby. Let's, for example, if you drop for the intake here and the body here, maintaining everything else, you'd probably be around 1500 Evo, but you're going to be down to the 620s performance point. Still not 1 to 3, but a little bit closer. That'll give you a little bit better potential lobby advantage. But I'm going to warn you right now, if you go to the slower lobbies than this, what's going to happen is you're going to face a lot more opponents that can run under Dino faster or more. So it doesn't make it easier. 11s is a good lobby for semi-decent cars. 12-second lobby is good for semi-decent cars. But if you're going down all the way to 12, your car's probably very, very mildly upgraded. That's not, the tier 4s are going to destroy you in there, and you're just not going to do well. So I don't think it's a good place for T5s to be. They should at least be 12.2 and faster, especially if you got a dyno beater. Maybe high 11s is okay, but you really want to run low 11s or better. Okay, so I actually somehow did not run that well on this one, 11.293. The car really should run a little bit more under dyno than that. Now, I'm not getting a RPM drop. Now, if I make this car a little bit slower, for example, something like this, okay, the Evo is even worse, but where you can get this car to do a little better is if you make it slightly slower, then it'll change the lobby a little bit. But if you can get the RPM drop, well, I still couldn't get it. So 5K launch with the final drive low enough really should get you an RPM drop. Then you instant nitrous, then the car will run better and a little more under dyno. But 5K is definitely the launch point you want to shoot for. Now notice just with that little adjustment, I ran a 11.126 over what I was doing before, which was a little bit slower, because the top end is what hurts you there, right? You top out faster and you don't get the same runs. So that this car basically has maybe 0.2 lobby advantage if you set the car up properly for it. Remember, if you go into lobby with this car, immediately run dyno or under, you just killed any chance of it having lobby advantage at all. But if you don't do that, you get lobby advantage set up, and then you can run the car. Again, it'll be in, let's say, 11.3.8, 11.4 lobby, facing 11.5, 11.6 cars. But at the same time, you can still run low 11 2 or even 11 1s. So it's a winnable setup for live racing. It's just not very optimal, and nor is it going to be a long-term usable car if you're the type to never slow down and really want to win every single race running all out. You will pretty soon kill this car. These drag cars like the Cobalt Camaro, like the the Ford Mustang Cobra Jet, they're very cool looking cars. They're almost like they're made for this game. But sadly, these guys, as good as they are with the right setup, are only middle of the pack when it comes to ultimately in-game live racing performance. So that is the Challenger MOPAR Drag Pak live racing setup from me, Max. I hope you liked the video. If you do, leave a like. Make sure, you can always tweak these. Don't forget, I said that in my other videos. You can always tweak the settings to your own liking, put you in the lobby that you would rather be in. But ultimately, it's a decent but not great live racer. Do what you will with the information I gave you. Again, if you like the video, leave a like. If you like this channel, like to see these kind of videos, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notified when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.